All right, this is a breakout on adding loading bars to your app. Rob is getting ahead of us. I'm going to show you some really great resources for finding loading icons, loading images, and stuff like that. But right now, I have just added some code. So when I say hello G51, it should log it to the console, and it doesn't. I am preventing the default action. Hard refresh. Disable cache. Nope.
Page is reloading.
Page is reloading. Am I doing this right?
Is the JavaScript file loaded?
No, it's not. Good call.
I learned that from the students, so don't ask them, guys.
Yeah. Cool. So now I'm logging the actual input. I want to log the value of the input, so let's do .val. And I'm going to use light server. So quick tip, if you do npm install -g light-server, this is an automatically refreshing HTTP server. Very similar to HTTP server, but whenever you make a change, the page will automatically refresh. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, so the only difference is it actually runs on port 3000 instead. So that's a thing. But
Does that matter?
no, it's just remind yourself that I'm not on port 8080 anymore.
Does it matter where you put that key in that command? Because I see it all over the place.
I think it can be on the end or it can be after the word install. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay. So I type in hello G51. I click send. It's logging the message. So now I want to make a post request to this API. Zoom out a little bit. So right here, I'm going to do $.post to /say. This thing accepts an object. So I'm going to create a data object that is an object that has a message property equal to the message itself. So I'm going to post that. Then I get back the result. And I'm going to log the result. So here I'll say hello G51, click send, wait a second. It's going to have to spin up. This might actually take a while. Let's see real quick. We can look at the network tab and see, if I click on XHR, there's a pending request out to say. So the server's trying. It's waiting.
Why is it taking so long?
My server has to spin up, I believe. Okay, so that's there. And, okay, I got a response, and it came back, and I logged the response. So here's what I want to do. For one, let's just add this response to the page. So I have a message and a weighted property. On the page itself, I have slowpoke message where I can append that. So right here, I'm just going to say, hey, jQuery, give me the thing that has the ID slowpoke message, and I want its text to be result.message. And then same thing, but the wait time should be result.waited. So now, when I say hello G51, wait a few seconds, we get it back, and it gets appended to the page. But that is not a good user experience, because I click the button, and how does the user know that something is actually happening? Actually, let's do an HR. Horizontal rule. Yeah, look at that. Hello G51. Go. Yeah, see? Yeah. But how do we know? How do we know it's really doing something? Okay, the first thing you want to do whenever you're loading something is disable the button. You want to prevent people from clicking that button more than once, because if they click it more than once, it actually is going to get multiple responses back. See that? Right? Because each click handler fires off a post request. So they're like, why isn't it working? And in the background, you're firing off 10 post requests. You don't want to do that. So look at that. There's a bunch of them. But in the submit handler, you should disable the button the moment that they click send. So right here on this send button, let's give it an ID. Send button. So now in this send message function, this is like the submit handler, I'm going to immediately disable that button. So grab the thing with send button and say disable. So now, the moment I click the button, it's disabled. Disable is not a function.
I think disabled should be disabled equal to.
Let's try that.
Just do like prop or I don't know if they have their own function for it.
I thought they had a disable. Oh well, you can do yeah, attribute disabled, disabled. Okay, so now I do hello G51. Okay, the button's disabled. Look, I can't click it. I only clicked it once, right? But now, when the results come back, then I can re-enable it. So when the results come back, which is going to be in this post request, then I'll say disabled not. So hello G51, disabled, and then, okay, and it's still disabled. Is it remove and one parameter? Remove attribute disabled. Okay. Hello, G51. Look at that, right? This is the beginnings of a good user experience, right? Because they can only click the button once, and then when the data comes back, eventually, it'll show it. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is while things are happening, we want to show a loading bar. So I am going to point you to some really great resources. r/loading icon, a community of people that find GIFs that work really great as loading icons. So this is a really good one. Rob found this one. Rob's not even in here. Oh, where are you? Hey, Rob. So there's like super sweet GIFs like that one, or just like, yeah, something's happening.
Can I send you one to make it do a loading thing?
Wait, what?
Stop that. Yeah, that's good.
That's like taking a while. I don't like it.
Well, you have it at like 0.60% speed.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh.
0.06.
There you go. That's cool. Rorschach test. But either way, so the idea is like this right here is like literally just a GIF. So it's a GIF image. So let's grab the source for this image, copy image address. Okay, so I got myself a little GIF, right? So I'm going to put that GIF with a hard G on the page. So right here, I'm going to do a section. Right here, I'm going to do an image. And let's just give this a class of loading. So now on the page, I've got this nice little loading bar. Cool, but it's always there. Initially, I want it to be hidden. So I'm going to add a style up here. Actually, I mean, you could even do it in jQuery, right? So when the app is ready, just grab the thing with the class loading and just say .hide. And automatically it'll disappear when the page loads. And so now, when you click the send button, disable the button, show the loading thing, and then when it comes back, re-enable and hide the loading thing, right? It's a simple hide show at the right time. So now, I'll say hello world, send, it's loading, and then we get the message back, right? Pretty sweet, huh? Yeah? Yeah? Yes? Yeah! It'll work all day long. So, and then like the button's disabled, and then the loading message will go away. So the thing you show when it's loading could literally be anything. Like right now, I'm showing this image right here. Stretch. But I could literally just have like an H3 that says loading ... Because still, I'm giving the user indication that like something's happening. And then there goes. Materialize has some built-in indeterminate progress bars. So if you look on components and then look on preloader, you can show like this nice little. Actually, I'm not using Materialize, but I'll show it here. You can just throw this in and you'll get this little spinning thing. This is known as indeterminate. Like we don't know how long the request is going to take. It's just going to take a while. So you've probably seen this in apps before. The apps literally have no idea of progress. They just know that something's happening in the background. These circle ones are awesome. I use them all over the place on Galvanized Mastery. So like when the page is loading, you saw that. When like it's it loads so fast you don't really see it, but that little thing is just a hide and a show of a little circle bar. For these, you can just copy and paste that in, and you get the spinning circle. I don't know what Bootstrap has. I know they have,
They have progress bars.
but I don't know if they're animated is the thing. Yep. With these, you can set like a percentage. For AJAX, we don't know, or we can't really tell the percentage that it's done. We just know when it's either started or completed. Yeah, so you could fake the user out and be like, it's almost done. Actually, I mean,
They go up and they stop at 99% forever.
yes. So pretty much every progress bar you see is just lying to you. Literally every single one. I'll give you a really good example of it. So on Galvanized Mastery, whenever you check a box, that's artificial. Like that thing is done instantly. But I want you to know that, hey, something's happening behind the scenes, so I just show that for 800 milliseconds. But the request is done in like 200 milliseconds. So yes.
So, do I have access to jQuery or JavaScript to know exactly how much data I receive from the server?
Not that I know of. Not for XML HTTP request. Fetch does have like a streaming API, so you potentially could tap into like the amount of data being sent back. But as far as I know, XML HTTP request is either like it's happening or you got the result back. It doesn't actually give you progress. Will?
So I'm like dealing with having like a login splash page, which once that's done, loading everything up, then it'll take you to the main page. But I did that by like setting like in an HTML body of the first page to like a loading thing.
You might have this do something like yeah. So let's say I have this loading class outside of the main. Oh, actually, okay. So inside of main, I'm gonna have a section for loading, and then I'm gonna have a section that's called like app or something like that. So in this case, I could literally take everything else and put it inside of there. So when it's loading, show this section, and then when it's not loading, show this section. So the idea being
Transitioning between one page and another, is it like, would you want it to be the first page that is kind of taken over by the loading thing and then linked to the next page?
yeah. So I mean that's the issue. If you're working with multiple pages, then that loading screen is going to happen on every single page because the moment the page refreshes, you go to like a new page2.html, all your JavaScript has to kick in again, and that same login process has to happen again. So you definitely want to have something that's single page where like this is the main section, and then you can swap in and out like page 1, page 2, but they stay logged in the whole time. That's definitely a breakout for this afternoon. Yeah. But now let's show this. So now, well, and actually I could do this. I have like a nice little function that's like, so like set loading, and you pass in is loading. And here I say if is loading, we want to show loading and hide the app. Else, we want to do the reverse. So we would, just that. Hide loading and show the app. So now when the app loads, we'll say set loading false. And then here we'll say set loading true. And then here we'll say set loading false. So now it's going to hide everything. So now when I do hello G51, it's going to hide the entire app, or not. Oh, just the section. Yeah, it's going to hide the form. And then it shows the form and the results whenever it comes back. And so here we could throw that image instead. Cool. Sure, send it to me, Rob. Some other resources, AJAX load.info will let you, what's going on here? like choose a certain type. Let's do like that one with a transparent background, generate, and that will actually like give you a GIF that you can add to your page that is that exact loading icon. So throw that one in there, see what happens. Hello, Rob. Oh, it's broken. Maybe I need. You might actually have to download it. Let's see what you got. Cool. Do you have a do you have a online link to it? I guess. Yeah, send me a URL so I can just embed it. Another really good subreddit is r/perfectloops. So these are loops that a lot of them you can't tell where they begin and where they end. They just keep going and going. And so it just keeps going over and over again. Sweet. And then what? Then they grab the bot. Oh, so he runs across it. Cool. Those are like cheap loading, like because yeah, I don't know. Wow. Okay, did you send it to me, Rob? Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah! This one took a long time. There we go. Sweet. So that's pretty much it. I'll share the code, but really just in terms of like how this is working, when you're making some like long-lasting requests, disable the button, right? Or hide it altogether, because you don't want them to make that happen multiple times. Let the user know that something's going on, and then when it's done, hide whatever loading image or progress bar or message you were showing and show the actual results. Yes?
So is there any way in JavaScript to override like the constructor of some elements, like let's say I have an image, and then I will override the onload of the image, like every time you call an image, it will have like a preloader or whatever.
That said, images do have preloaders. So I've done a thing. What's that?
Override the constructor of the
You probably could. I don't know if I'd recommend it. But like on this site, this is all the instructor bios. So when you first visit, you'll see. Actually, everybody, look. This is really funny. Look, it's funny. Funny. Watch it happen. Okay, when it loads, you're gonna see all these loading messages. So it said like 9 out of 10 instructors. In the background, I'm actually downloading all the images, and then when I know that all the images are ready, then I show the page. So let's watch it again. Yeah, and at this time they were cached, so it like loads instantly. The messages you're seeing are from. Has anybody played the game? There's a game.
I saw Gemini.
A lot of them are from like Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a repo where a guy just has an entire array of them. So I just added a bunch in there. Yeah.
So if you wanted to, you could set up something like when something's loaded and make it look like there's progress going on, and then have it go back like it's going 70, 80, 90%, and then start back over at 40. So
Yeah.
that the user becomes
Honestly,
more frustrated.
Okay, so I'm just going to show a quick demo of that because it's hilarious. But yes, let's just do it with Bootstrap. We'll do like, because we can do like a set timeout, and then when the thing finishes, like it'll automatically go to 100. But let's do this. Progress bars. We'll do the striped one. Toggle animation. Ooh, look at that. Okay. So right here, I'm going to show the progress bar. And all these ARIA attributes, are for accessibility. So screen readers would actually see like 45%. I'm just going to remove that real quick just for the sake of things. If I make this like 50%, does it show up? What's that? Cool, so that's 50%. So check it out. I'm going to be setting style width on this thing. So let's give this an ID of progress bar. So in here, when I send the message, let's say something like, oh, we'll do it in set loading. So instead of, yeah, on loading show, I want to move progress bar. Or I don't know. Let's just do this. Set interval. I'm going to have a function that will run every 300 milliseconds. And it's going to set the width of the thing that has the ID progress bar. So style.width. Going to be some value between 0 and 100. So math.random times 100, and then put a little % sign on the end. Okay, and here's what you can do. You can say, out here I'll define let progress interval equal null. Right here, I'm going to set progress interval equal to that. And then here, I can clear the interval. So I'll say clear interval and pass in progress interval. So when it starts loading, just like move that progress bar a bunch. Let's do like 500 milliseconds. And then when it's done, it'll stop moving. Let's see what happens. OK. Oh, too fast. Can't set property width of undefined. Cool. Oh, get the thing at 0. I could use, let's just use jQuery. So we'll say .css width is this random value. It went down. Cool. So yeah, that's modern UX in a nutshell. Yeah, any last questions or comments? Cool, I'll share this code. You can mess with your users all day long. Okay, goodbye.